Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 5 of our APH Virtual ExCEL Camp. Today's topic again is Tending the Garden Camp for Symbolic Learners. Just as a reminder for everyone, anyone is welcome to join us today, but our focus for today is going to be on our pre-symbolic and symbolic learners. So just keep that in mind. But again, anyone's welcome to attend. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our masterful teacher, Jill Andrus. Thank you, Jill.
All right, thank you. Well, welcome back. We're on day 5 and it's our last day, but we have learned so many things and we're going to talk about some new things today and then talk about the things that we have already learned this week. So I am excited to be here. I'm excited that you're all here. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can see what our plan is for today. All right, today it's day 5 of tending the garden. And I have a picture on this slide of some yellow flowers. And sitting on top of the yellow flowers is an orange butterfly. So that might give us a clue as to what we might be talking about today. So just some tips for our learners and for people helping our learners. Make sure that your workspace is clear and doesn't have any clutter on it, and that we can allow them to focus on what we want them to do. Make sure you have the things ready for cues or the things that you might need, like tactile symbols or real objects to help them transition from activity to activity. And again, we remind you that hand under hand presentation is best. That is a good way to invite our learners to participate. So here is our symbols for what we'll be doing today. We'll be doing first, next, and then. So first we'll be saying hello. And there is a symbol of a person waving hello. And then next will be our schedule or calendar. And that is a symbol of a clock with a calendar or a schedule in front of it that has a time on it. Could be the time that we would be meeting today. And then we are going to have a good stretch and get our bodies all ready for learning. And our symbol for that is 2 hands stretching a piece of fabric, or you could use a real object like a rubber band. So let's go ahead and get started. So first, here is the first thing we'll be doing, which is saying hello. I would like to say hello to all of you on day 5 and welcome. My name is Jill and I have brown hair. I have blue eyes. Today I'm wearing headphones, big headphones, and I'm wearing a red shirt today. So say hello to us in the chat or just wave where you're at. Okay, our schedule today, we will have 3 parts. And we're going to have a listening game. And then we will do our listening game later. We're going to do 3 parts with a game and a break. So that is our schedule. Now there is our symbol for stretch. So let's have a nice good stretch to get ready to learn. I'm going to stop sharing so that I can stretch with you. Okay, let's see. I want you to make sure that your hips are nice and firmly in your chair. I want to make sure that your feet are planted firmly on the floor. And we will go ahead and do a nice stretch. I want you to sit up tall if you can. And let's start by putting our hands out in front of us. I'm going to position my camera a little bit so you can see my hands. So we're going to put our hands out in front of us. And we're going to do a good stretch for 10 seconds. I'm going to give you a minute to get your hands in position. Put your arms right out in front of you and give a good stretch to your shoulders. Okay, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, that was a good stretch to start. Let's keep going. I'd like you to put your arms out to the sides now, like an airplane or a bird. Put your arms out to the side like bird wings. And let's do another good stretch. I'll give you a minute to get ready. All right, little birds, let's stretch for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, that's a good stretch. One last good stretch. Let's go right up to the sky, up high. Reach your arms up as high as you can. We'll do another stretch for 10 seconds. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, that was a good stretch. Now I want everyone to take a deep breath in and then let it out. Here we go. Deep breath in and let it out. Let's do that one more time. Deep breath in and let it out. Now we are ready. Our bodies are ready. We've got some good oxygen in our brains. We're ready to work. So I'm going to go ahead, share my screen again. So we have done our stretch. So I'm going to move to our next slide. All right, we are ready for our lesson today. I'm so excited that you're all here because we have something fun to do today. Here is what we're going to be talking about today. I can name creatures found in the garden. I can name creatures found in the garden. So there is a creature next to my words, and it is a picture of a bird. That is a creature that can be found in the garden. So there is a bird. He is sitting on a stick or on a branch of a tree. His head is yellow and his body is green, and he has a very long beak. So we can name creatures found in the garden. Let's go. A garden can have many living creatures. A garden can have many living creatures. Garden creatures can be insects. Garden creatures can be insects. Insects could be ladybugs, caterpillars, butterflies, and bees. So I have a picture on this slide of a bright green leaf, and sitting on that leaf is a red ladybug. There's a black circle around that red ladybug to help you find that ladybug. It is red and it has black polka dots on its back, little black circles on its back. So a ladybug is an example of an insect that you might find in the garden. So other insects, could be ladybugs, caterpillars, butterflies, or bees. And there might be other insects you can find in your garden. So our garden can have many living creatures. We just talked about insects, but here's another idea. Garden creatures can be animals. So our garden could have insects and our garden could have animals. Examples of animals are rabbits, deer, and even squirrels. Can you think of some other animals that might be in a garden? I thought of animals that are in the garden could be rabbits, deer, and squirrels. But I also have a big black cat that likes to play in my garden. He likes to hide under all of the plants and have a nap. It's shady and cool, and he is so happy in there. So when our garden gets tall, we can always find our cat hiding in the garden. On this slide, I have a picture of a squirrel. They can be found in the garden, and he's sitting on a branch of a tree. He has brown fur and a very big bushy tail behind him. So you might see squirrels in your garden. So think, what other animals have I seen that might be in my garden? So a garden can have many living creatures. We talked about insects. We've talked about animals. Garden creatures can also be birds. Garden creatures can be birds. Examples of birds are owls, robins, and hummingbirds. I bet that you can think of some birds that might be in your backyard or in your garden. I thought of owls, robins, and hummingbirds. I have a picture of an owl on this page. He has big yellow eyes and a long black beak, and he is spotted black and white. And he looks kind of like he's mad. His eyebrows are pushing down like he looks kind of angry, but he's not. That's just what this owl looks like. He looks like a mad owl, but he's not. He's just an owl that has eyebrows that look mad. His eyes are very yellow, so he can find things that might be running around in your garden, like mice. So we talked about a garden can have many living creatures. It can have insects, it can have animals, and it can have birds. So if you go out to your garden and you put on your good listening ears, you might be able to hear creatures that are in your garden. So let's listen to some creatures that might be in your garden. I'm going to play a sound and I want you to listen really well with your ears. So that was an interesting sound. Does anyone have a guess what that might be? I want you to think in your head what you think that sound might be. I'm going to play it one more time and then we're going to guess. If you guessed a bee, you were right. That is a bee. And I have a picture of a bee. A bee is yellow and brown or yellow and black, and they have wings and antenna on the front of their head. That is a bee. I bet you've heard a bee sound in your backyard or in your garden. Oops, hang on. We're going to move to our next slide and find another sound. So there are creature sounds in the garden. Let's see if we can guess what this sound is. Now that is a funny sound. Has anyone ever heard that sound in your garden? I'm going to play it one more time, and then we will guess. Okay, if you guessed squirrel, then you were right. It is a squirrel. Squirrels make a sound they call chirping. And that is what a squirrel sounds like. I have a picture of a squirrel on this slide. He is brown with a big bushy tail, and he has a white chest and a white belly, and he has little ears. I think he's cute. I think squirrels are cute. And that's the sound that he makes. Let's listen one more time. So that is what a squirrel sounds like. So if you've gone to your garden and heard that sound and thought, what is that? Is that a bird? What is that? It's not a bird. It's a squirrel chirping. That is a funny sound for a squirrel. Let's go to our next slide and see if there's another animal or creature in our garden. Oh, here's another one. I'm going to play the sound and you be thinking in your head, what could this creature be? Now that is an interesting sound. You've probably heard that sound before. We have these creatures in our garden. Let's listen one more time. Did any of you guess that that was an owl? You are right. That is an owl. That's what owls sound like. Many times we say that they say, hoo, hoo, and that is what it sounded like. That sounded like an owl. So that is what owls sound like. Let's go to our next slide. And we are going to take a break. We have worked hard. We've learned so many things already, and it's time for a break. There is our symbol of a person laying on a couch, taking a break. So we're going to take a break, and I will set a timer so that we can all be back in 3 minutes. All right, welcome back from your break. It is time for us to go to the next part of our lesson today. So first, we will be stretching. Then we will have the second part of our lesson, and then we will be all done. So first, let's do our stretch. I'm going to stop sharing so that we can do our stretch together. All right, I need everyone I would like you to pretend that you are an owl. I would like you to put your arms out to the sides, and we're going to move our arms up and down like an owl. So everyone get ready. If you can't get your arms out all the way, that's okay. Get them out as far as you can. And we will fly like an owl for 10 seconds. Okay, I think we're ready. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job, little owlings. We flew for our good stretch. Now we're going to put our arms up high and do a good stretch up high. So stretch as high as you can, and we will do another good stretch. I will count to 10 in just a moment when we're all ready. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, our last stretch, we're going to do the nice big hug so that we're ready to work. Everybody needs a hug every day. Let's give ourselves a hug. I'll give you a moment to get ready. All right, I'm going to count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, one good squeeze, and then we'll get back to work. Good stretching, everyone. All right, I'm going to share my screen so you can see what we're doing next. All right, we first did our stretch. Now we're going to do our lesson. We did our stretch. There's our stretch symbol. Now we're going to do our lesson. So all week long, we've been talking about something that has been one of my favorite things to talk about. I can help plant a garden. We have done many things in our garden this week. We've learned many things about how we can help plant a garden. There is a picture of a large garden, and it looks like a garden of cauliflower to me. They are in long rows of cauliflower. They have big green leaves, and inside those leaves are heads of cauliflower or cabbage. Actually, I think it's cabbage now that I look closely. I think they are rows of cabbage. So let's talk about some of the things that we learned this week. We have things that we know now this week because we've been learning all week. So now we know that plants give us food, shade, and oxygen. So you have learned this week that plants give us food, shade, and oxygen. And there is a picture of some beautiful orange carrots. They look like they are ready to eat. So we know that plants give us food to eat, or food for our animals to eat. They give us shade. When it's a hot day, we can sit under a shady tree, and they make oxygen for us and our pets and our animals to breathe. So plants are very important. Here's another thing that you know now. I know that plants need light, water, air, nutrients, and space to grow. So plants, we know this now, that plants need 5 things to grow. They need light, like sunlight. They need fresh air. They need water. They need nutrients. And they need space to be able to get big and tall. Those are the things they need to grow. We know that now. Here's another thing we've learned. I know that seeds grow into plants and flowers. I know that seeds grow into plants and flowers. So we learned this week that we plant a tiny little seed into a hole in our soil, and we cover it up. We put it under the soil, and it starts to sprout and make a little plant. And then it grows bigger and bigger and bigger. So we know that seeds grow into plants and flowers. So we have learned many, many things this week. And I think that you are all ready to do something fun tonight at your house. So I want tonight, if you can have someone help you, find a bin or a bucket that you could put dirt or soil in, or you could even put in some dried beans. And then you can find things around the house to put in your bucket of beans or your bucket of soil. And you can pretend planting things or digging for things, or you can work on hiding things under the beans or under the soil and then finding them. That is an activity that you can do tonight at your house, because we know so many things now about how to plant a garden. So I want all of you to have fun planting a garden. I have our last picture is of some planter boxes, and they have many different vegetables in them. Looks like there is some cabbage and some tomato plants, lots of things that you can plant in your garden. So I want all of you to be thinking of all the things that you learned this week, and then help plant a garden and have fun. This garden planting is very fun. All right, we are all done. I want to thank all of you for joining me in learning how to plant a garden. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and we will be all done.
Okay, thank you, Miss Jill. I think that was a wonderful lesson. I'd like to thank everybody that had joined us today live for our virtual ExCEL Tending the Garden Camp for Symbolic Learners. We really appreciate you all being here and hope you enjoyed it as much as we all enjoyed working with you all. And we look forward to our future ExCEL camps. And thank you again, Miss Jill. And everyone have a wonderful weekend if wherever you are. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.